My name is Tim Osborn, and I practice in Bakersfield, California. My firm is called Osborn Law, and we're kind of a boutique plaintiff's personal injury and wrongful death firm. We handle cases up and down the state. The incident in question happened back in October of 2014. We got the call and recognized that they needed help and deserved help, and so we jumped in. This is a wrongful death case, unfortunately, and the decedent was a young boy who had Down syndrome. It happened at a movie theater here in Bakersfield. The young boy and his grandfather were really just best buddies. Their favorite thing to do of all was go to the movies together. They walked in and ordered some food at the snack bar, entered the theater, and as usual, the theater was very dark. The young man began to eat his food and fairly quickly developed an airway obstruction. Some of the food got stuck. Within seconds, he stood up and was indicating that he couldn't breathe, and his grandfather, by sheer coincidence, had CPR training, airway obstruction training. Immediately started trying to do his best to help his grandson out, and within a few more seconds, two other patrons that were in the theater and had seen the commotion were at their side, and they also had CPR training. Around that time, the boy unfortunately lost consciousness and went to the ground. Obviously, at this point, every second is critical in trying to visualize that airway obstruction and free it. But the problem was it was just extremely dark and loud in the theater, and the staff had been notified immediately. Shockingly, was either unwilling or unable to fully illuminate the room. And so the critical minutes passed with the grandfather and these other two gentlemen trying desperately to do whatever they could. But the bottom line is they were never able to adequately visualize this young man's airway and spot the obstruction and then perform what is known in airway management as the finger sweep method to get in there and free it out. If this giant movie theater company had working lighting in the room, that would have enabled these men to save this young man, and there would have been a much different and better outcome. The main issue in the case, obstacle-wise, was causation. The defense just flat out refused to accept that the complete lack of working lighting in this room had anything to do with this young man's passing. The strategy in contacting DK Global on this one, there were really two things that we had in mind. The first is we needed a good way to demonstrate this young man's airway anatomy and to show just how easy it would have been to really get in there and see into his mouth and into his upper airway with adequate lighting. He was at his grandson's side and knew that he had the tools with his CPR training to help him, and knew that his grandson was essentially suffocating to death, but was prevented from helping because of the lack of functioning lighting in this movie theater room. And so we wanted to set something up to depict that and really hit home to whoever was watching it, whether it was a jury or the insurance adjusters or a mediator, what exactly the grandfather experienced here. The case eventually did resolve. It resolved before trial at a mediation, and it resolved very favorably. And I can say with certainty that a large part in the way it finished was the work that DK Global did with us.